Today's episode is called Slowing Down. It's all about how to create space for yourself to slow down in today's busy and hectic world. And it's our intention that after this episode, you have some tips and tools to take time for yourself and to give yourself permission to slow down. How are you doing today, Kat?
Pretty good. It hasn't been that slow of a day, but I'm happy to be here.
So we find ourselves in the middle of the day, and I know you've already gone to a movie. We did some recording, some other work. You are not slowing down. And I'm coming into this with I've just taken the day of leisure today somewhat. So let's talk about breakneck paces and slowing down and the struggle that kind of happens for that. Because you and I are very type A personalities. We kind of like to go, go, go.
Yeah.
And that's just not feasible for longer periods of time. So what kind of comes up for you when first of all, what are your favorite ways to slow down?
Hard question. I don't do it too often, although that's exactly why we're doing this episode, because I'm learning that I absolutely need to. I love to take a bath at the end of the day, take a hot bath, and I love to read books. I really, really do. Those are kind of the ways that I try to allow myself to be slow, try to get chill. How about you?
I'm trying to actually create an evening and I have an evening routine and a morning routine, but I'm trying to put some slowness into them. So because it's beautiful out right now, I've been having my first coffee outside, and I don't bring my phone, and I just go outside. I just get a little bit of sun on me, which has done wonders for my mindset and just my overall kind of chill vibe that I've never experienced before in my life. So that's kind of nice. But I noticed that the sun is definitely helping just my overall well-being. So that's one, is just not rushing into the day, which is how I usually get up and I start going, and the time I end is when I'm crashing into bed at night. And it was pointed out to me that I needed to slow down. And it's not really my personality type to do that, but I see the benefits of it. I just need to have some structure to it. So taking that morning coffee where I just sit and let whatever floats in is how I slow down. Meditation's another one, of course. Yeah. And then in the evening, I'm starting to just give myself 10 minutes before I fall asleep to just write anything I need to write, listen to something calming. I'm just really trying to have those start of day and end of day things. And I'm also hopefully incorporating some stuff throughout my day, because I literally I will happily work 16 hours in a day and not blink. And I'm realizing as I get older that it's just not what I want to do anymore. It was great when I was younger, but not right now.
Yeah. I had something similar. I was very much into hustle culture, especially early on in my career, when I was working very hard to become self-employed. So I would go to my full-time job, and then I'd come home after work, and then I would work on my business. And hustle culture to the max. I very much bought into the idea that, the people who work the hardest get the most rewards. Even when my twins were infants, I pushed hard to write articles during their nap times, take calls during their nap times. And it all was okay until it wasn't, right? And I think now that I'm, older, getting into my later 30s, I just can't work like that anymore. Yeah, I know. I just can't work like that anymore. We've talked about mental health struggles on this podcast many times before, but I've learned that my daily mental health is directly correlated to the quality of my sleep the night before. And I can't stay up till 1 a.m. writing articles like I used to, just to try to get one more in or to make another $100 that day. I can't do it if I want everybody to have a good day the next day, not just me. I am trying to allow myself to rest. And the hard thing is that we're both entrepreneurs, and like the biggest plus is that we have flexible schedules. The biggest drawback is that we have flexible schedules. We don't know what it's like to, get home and not have any responsibilities for work and shut it all down. We work at all times. It's just broken up, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's it's a hard thing because there's always something to be done, right? Even as we're doing
Always.
this, I mean, it just never ends. There's emails to be returned, there's products to create, there's, people to work with, interviews to do. We're always going. And I kind of like that in one sense, but I do see the value more and more of needing to stop throughout the day and put gas back in the tank, so to speak, whether
Yeah.
that's, some good food or just even like a 10-minute coffee break, or sometimes, a whole afternoon off to go to a movie or whatever. It's just being
Yeah.
able to give yourself permission to do that. So I think you and I both know ourselves really well. And we know that,
Mm-hmm.
we would rather, given the choice, we'd rather push through. How do you
Yeah.
adjust for the guilt that you feel for when you stop to slow down?
I mean, I think that it is still a challenge. I don't know if I'll ever be able to guilt free stop um, because I have goals that I want to reach. And the way that part of my job works is I do a lot of freelance writing, and there's some clients that have like unlimited articles. I mean, I could write a ton if I wanted to. And so it's really hard to like tell myself you're okay. A lot of it is going back to like self trust. A lot of the hard work and the hustling in the beginning I learned was linked to scarcity. I was so worried that, that if I wasn't the hardest working, that I would lose a client, that if I didn't say yes to every job, that another one wouldn't come. And now, after over a decade of being self-employed, now I operate a little bit more from abundance, and I know the things to tell myself, like, you will feel like a better mother tomorrow if you go to sleep right now. It will be better for the twins tomorrow if you go to sleep right now. You're fine. Remember that this client just complimented you on this article, or whatever it was. You don't need to do anything else today. You are taken care of. You're good. You're safe. All of those things. It's a lot of self-talk because
Okay.
I have to counteract the negative self-talk and the scarcity self-talk that bubbles up. It's like, you're a single mom. What are you doing? You can't stop working. You need to like push hard and hustle, and you need to make sure everything's okay, or else, so I have to sort of calm that anxiety and fill it with the confidence that I have in myself and my work.
Okay. And do you find, because I'm thinking of the listener right now going, yeah, that's me. And,
Mm-hmm.
but still not maybe breaking the pattern of listening to themselves.
Yeah,
They listen to themselves when they're hard on themselves, but they don't listen to themselves when it is time to stop or time to slow down, or just that permission. At some point your body's going to shut down. You're going to have to sleep.
that's right. I
So,
would just say that to yourself then. We've many of us have heard that quote before. If you don't take a break right now, your body will take a break for you, and it's not going to be at a time that's convenient for you.
yeah, and it's not going to feel the nice way. Usually, when your body forces you to stop, it gets sick in one way or
It
another. It's
does.
been my experience, and you can see it with people too. You're like, "How you doing?" And they're like, "Oh, I've been working really hard for the last how many ever days, weeks, months," and they look terrible. And
Yeah,
it's because they aren't taking that time to rejuvenate themselves. And I know it's easier said than done. Like, we're not coming at this as experts. I'm literally coming at this going, how do I make myself stop in the middle of a day to do, to watch a TV show or to read my book or whatever, when there's so much to be done. And
mm-hmm.
the reality is, and I'm still getting my head around this, is that it's never done, ever.
No.
It's the list never stops. Go ahead, Kat.
Yeah, no, I was just laughing thinking about it. Like I was just thinking about something as simple as the laundry. Like let's say you do like 5 loads of laundry on a Sunday and you're all caught up. It's like maybe you'll feel good for a second, but like you're gonna go and then you're gonna find a sock that like didn't make it into the wash. And then like guess what? Everyone's gonna change into their pajamas and then they're gonna put clothes in the pile. Like I think one of the things that maybe the hardest is to acknowledge that it's never done. And so you're just pressing pause. You're not really pressing stop. And maybe that is a useful mental tool that just because you pause, because you're tired, because you're sick, it doesn't mean that you're not a hard worker. It doesn't mean that you're not a dedicated mother. You know, there's a lot of mom guilt, like, oh, like I put him in front of the Lion King today and I feel so bad and I don't want him to have screen time. And it's like, it's okay for you to pause. It doesn't make you a bad mother. It doesn't make you a bad anything. It again, we have to operate from taking care of ourselves. There are many parents who are completely overwhelmed. I saw a mom today in a Facebook group, like just asking for a house manager, someone to come 3 hours a week just to help her fold her laundry. Like we're all just so overwhelmed. And kudos to her for reaching out and asking for help. But it's like, it never ends. And so think of yourself as I'm pressing pause until I press play again. That's it.
I like that. I like that a lot. I, there's like three topics that come up in that we could go into, but we'll stick with
Sure.
the idea of slowing down.
Yep.
So, what benefits? So you're telling me that you used to, and I know this, but for the listener, you used to write like a ton, and like you would go in the morning, you basically write from sun up to sundown
Yes.
and beyond. And how did it feel at first to like to come at it and go, okay, I'm not finishing this article tonight the way I thought I was going to when I started it this morning or this afternoon or whenever you started it. How do you mentally cope with that? I know it's a kind of a vague thing, but what I'm trying to do is give our listener the ability to know that A, this is very, very normal, and B,
Yeah.
there are tips.
I think that in the beginning, I would not mentally cope with it. I would beat myself up. I'd go to bed feeling miserable. I would like set my alarm and wake up early to make sure that it was finished before the editor woke up and started his or her job at 9 a.m. And I would just like beat myself up and torture myself. Like, you're the worst. You suck at this. You need to manage your time better. Why did I bet you scrolled yesterday when you could have been writing that article, and I'd be terrible to myself. And now if things happen every day, I mean, who knows? I mean, we had a broken tooth last week. I mean, it's just never ending when you're parenting. But sometimes, it's a normal day and I'm not able to finish what I need to get finished for whatever reason. But now I am so into self-care and so into protecting my mental health that I just say, you first, Catherine, it's you first. Go to bed now. I still can set my alarm. I still have the idea of like, well, I can get it done in the morning because that's a decent time for me to work before the kids wake up. But, I'm just so much more like my brain first, my mental health first. I could stay up till 1 and push through, but I tell myself your quality will be better in the morning. Finish it up then and you'll feel better.
That's good. I think a lot of us have that. And one of the things that's helped me is discovering my chronotype and just paying attention to when I work best throughout the day. Because there's 3 different types. I think the book is When. Yeah. I could be wrong on that though. But essentially knowing that, some people work really good in the morning and they have the midday slump and then they have a really good productive period between like 3 and 5 o'clock. Other people are, later in the evening, push through type of people. And that's just their most productive time. But I think the point I'm trying to get across is that you have certain times of day where you are going to be very, very productive.
Correct.
And even though both of us, and I'm sure millions of other people, push through those hard times where you're in the slump and you're like, no, I can still keep going. What we're saying is, if you're able to take that pause for 5, 10 minutes, whatever, an hour, whatever you can, and give yourself permission to slow that down, you will find, my experience has been, you're way more productive when you come back to it and walk away from it. When you've walked away and you get refreshed and then come back, your dynamic with it is completely different. Plus, if you're solving problems or you're trying to come up with a concept, or you're writing something, it's almost like the well gets primed again, and you're like, oh, I have all
Yep.
these things. It's kind of like that. The energy, the creativity just diminishes, and you just got to let it refill. And once it refills, you kind of wonder, why did I leave? Why haven't I always done this? But there are more and more benefits to it the more I do it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds funny to say, but you almost have to build a case for rest in your head, because your brain is, especially if you live in North America, we are just so conditioned to work and work and work and work ourselves to death. And so you almost have to like build a case for the rest related to work. For example, one of the many things Andrew and I have in common is that we both get our ideas in the car. So when we're driving,
Mm.
we both get ideas, business ideas, book title ideas, podcast title ideas. We get a ton of ideas when we're driving. And why is that? It's because we're sort of driving on autopilot and our mind is not wrapped up in work. It's not getting a bunch of emails. For a second, we're able to like tap into that creativity. And so that's exactly what Andrew is saying, is like, when you rest, it allows all kind of like all of your vital signs to come back up. It allows your creativity bucket to refill. And so I tell myself that often, just like I was saying about going to bed at night, even if something isn't done, it's like, I'm going to be so much better tomorrow. This is going to be so much better fresh. So you can say, I'm going to go take a walk around the block, or you can build into your schedule. Like, I'm just going to watch this show at lunchtime, or I'm going to watch this show when I get home from work and unwind, or whatever it is. But it just sort of telling yourself that the rest is critical to getting where you want to get in other aspects of your life.
Absolutely. And I think that's part of slowing down. And I'm in my head, I'm like, do I bring this up or do I not bring this up? So I will, though. I've done a lot of looking into improving my sleep, because that is where all the wonder and energy comes from, and all the good things happen when you sleep. And I had to gamify my own sleeping in the beginning just so I would slow down. And it's almost like I'm dealing with, go, 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 Andrew, and this other Andrew, the self-care Andrew that's really, really young, and kind of going like, God, how do I reach this adult that won't stop running? And so I gamified it, and I've got a sleep mat that tracks my sleep. But I really did put a lot of effort into learning about what will help me sleep better. So now I don't eat after 7 o'clock at night or 3 hours before bed. I don't drink coffee in the afternoons. I drink more water. I'm trying my best to make sure that my sleep is so good that I wake up so refreshed and recharged that it's I had to play the game with myself is really where I'm going. Like we all know sleep is important, but the more I learn about it, the more I'm kind of feeling like I did myself a disservice all those years by going to bed at midnight, working till midnight, getting up at 5 a.m. to keep going. And I do love those moments when you get into a good project and you're like, oh, I just want to keep going with this. But I see the benefit of sleep. But to get myself to do that, I had to gamify it for myself. I had to give myself a target, and you might need to do that when it comes to slowing down. You might have to give yourself like, okay, well, I wonder how I'll be if I actually get 8 hours of sleep every night for a week. And I wonder what, there's the 3 levels of sleep. Deep sleep's like the restorative ones. So that's another thing that I started really looking at. I'm like, okay, And I would find that on the nights that I got better, more deep sleep, I was way happier the next day. I was way more productive.
Yep.
And that kind of perpetuated me wanting to get better rest and take breaks. So what I had to do, what self-care Andrew had to do to go, 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 Andrew, which are these terrible names I'm coming up with on the spot. But what he had to do was find a way to break the habit of going, going, and going, and to show that go, go, go personality that, look, you actually do better with these breaks. And I'm not perfect with it. I'm not even half perfect with it. I'm not even a fraction perfect with it. But what I am doing is giving myself permission to get better at this a little bit at a time, knowing that I am overcoming not just my own my mental rules of you have to always keep going, but that I'm also overcoming a societal value that we all apparently have to be busy. I don't know where that rule came from, but it's a really dumb one that, if you are free and you're not doing anything, then you're wasting your time. And it's not the case, but that rule is very firmly ingrained in my brain and I'm still working at it. But it's just we just did an episode on the rules are fake. That's another fake rule.
Yeah,
So.
it is. I think what I want to encourage our listeners to do, especially as we wrap up this episode, is we have found a lot of benefit into finding little moments of daily rest, little moments to slow down. Obviously, your nighttime sleep and optimizing that can really help a lot. But it's not mentally healthy to work yourself to the bone and then think that a week vacation is going to fix it. Oh, I just need this vacation so badly. You can give yourself 30-minute vacations every day, whether it's with your coffee or, a podcast or, just a meditation or whatever. You can fit it into a really busy day, even if you have little kids, even if you have a demanding job. There's a little something in there that you can do. And it's been really revolutionary for my mental health and just how I feel during the day to get those little moments of rest. And I definitely would encourage our listeners to seek them out and try to make some of the little ones and not wait for the big one, the big vacation.
Yeah. The forced vacation.
That's
or
right.
the 1 week at the beach vacation. For the record, when I would go on my holidays, it took me about 8 days of a 7-day vacation. No, 7-week vacation sounds awesome. But it would take me eight of my 7 days to finally relax. And next thing I knew, I found myself back at work working. I'm like, but I just finally got relaxed. So it's a muscle. It's a muscle that you learn to flex. It's a new pathway, and give yourself permission to develop this one because you'll be better. I've even experimented with naps on the weekend and stuff like that. I feel so much better. Just closing your eyes for 15 minutes. If you can't meditate, take a nap. Take a 15-minute nap, 20-minute nap, or hour or whatever. You kind of wake up, and it's like hitting reset on the day. I can't explain it, but it is a really, really good feeling. Not that I need to pitch anybody on the idea of naps.
Yeah, everyone likes naps, but I am well known for saying, okay, I'm going to go listen to my book for 30 minutes. And what that means is I'm going to go lie in my bed, put my book on a 30-minute timer. And I set an alarm too, sometimes for 45 minutes, just in case I fall asleep. But sometimes I don't fall asleep. Yeah. I'm literally just in the dark room with my little introverted self, recharging all the batteries that I need to charge. And it works super well for me.
Yeah, it does. And I've seen you change from morning to afternoon as you've done that. And it is really great. And I had a hard time with it. I got an Apollo, which is a vagus nerve stimulator, and it actually has a power nap setting on it where what it does, you wear it on your wrist or your ankle or your hip or whatever, with a little clip or a strap. and it will vibrate these patterns that kind of help you fall asleep. And then it does the pattern to wake you up, and you can set it for 15, 30, 60 minutes for the nap one. And it's amazing how like you come out of your sleep naturally and you just feel amazing.
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
yeah, big proponent of naps if you can take them. I know everybody's job doesn't allow for that. But even, you're running the kids around on the weekend and you're overloaded and you need to slow down, but you just can't. Go close your eyes. Even closing your eyes will put you in an alpha state of mind. It'll get you out of that high beta frequency,
Right.
which is where we all are and we're always stressed with. So even the act of closing your eyes and pausing, lying down, meditating, whatever, for a few minutes can have wonderful effects on you.
I love that.
So, yeah. So let's just sum it up. Slowing down should be easy, and it's not.
Yeah.
But it gets easier the more you do it. And the important thing is to, again, know yourself. Try to hack yourself in the way that makes sense. If you have to have self-care, little self-care you talk to go you, that's okay. Still not coming up with a better example than that one. So sorry, listener. But I think you're worth slowing down. And I think I'm worth slowing down because more time doesn't necessarily mean more productive time. And if you really are going because you're trying to be productive and get stuff done, you'll do better when you take those pauses throughout your day to put gas back in the tank, because you'll go further, farther, faster when you do get back to work. And that's my pitch for slowing down. How about you, Kat?
No, I think you summed it up perfectly. And I would not even try to repeat farther, further, faster. Is that what you said? It was a good one. So we'll just leave it.
Yeah, thank you.
It was good. And no, I think that's the perfect place to end. So at the end of each episode, though, we also share our glimmers, which are just things that make us happy. Books, apps, experiences, songs, whatever it is. We just share to cap off the episode with something that has a little bit of joy. So what is your glimmer for this week, Andrew?
So my glimmer this week is I've wanted a digital photo frame where I can just put my photos and they kind of cycle through. I want to do it with like motivation stuff, but they're always been like, they're just too expensive. Well, I was walking around Marshall's and for whatever reason, there was a brand new unopened one on clearance. And so it was like, yeah, it was over $100. It was like $120 off the regular price, and because these things aren't cheap. Yeah, so
no, they're not.
I got that, and I'm really, really excited to start playing with it. How about you, Kat? What's your glimmer?
I was going to share. I love that, by the way. And, I love a good deal story. So thanks for sharing. I was going to share that you and I went to go see Inside Out 2. That was very glimmery for me because, when you have a podcast where you talk about your feelings all the time, how could we not go to Inside Out 2? And we both loved it. It was really fun. Andrew had a coupon for free popcorn and... which was a highlight, I gotta say. Speaking of deals. So yeah, we had a nice time, and I actually took my twins to go see it today. So now I've seen it twice. It was definitely worth it and highly recommend if you haven't seen it yet.
It is a great movie. I think it's a great way of explaining emotions to people that don't maybe new to them as I was not so long ago. And I think it really does help us to understand anxiety, especially because that's a big part of that movie and something the world's really trying to deal with right now, which is, again, why slowing down is even more important.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We hope this was helpful, and we're rooting for you.
Hey, one last thing. Don't forget to go to 5yearyou.com/future to start getting those emails from your future self. It will change your life.
Hey guys, quick disclaimer. We're podcasters on the internet. If you need to seek professional help, please go see your healthcare professional.